It's still February 1st. So I had a class today. And one of the readings we were supposed to do is called, it's a chapter from Boys and Sex by Peggy Orenstein. Chapter 6, I Know I'm a Good Guy, but it's a 10-page document. And it's an account, a subjective account of, accounts really of interviews done with high school and college boys and young men, and their perception of their experiences when they, with girls that they might have hooked up with or might have crossed the line with, and kind of gathering subjective reports, their stories really, of how they responded in that situation, and the social culture around that when they would report back to their friends, or there's just a lot of different experiences. And we had to talk about it in class, about different things. And I think I had to really break it up to watch it or read it, because I was getting triggered. But the triggering was more so this, I just saw my nephew's faces. I saw my nephew's faces. And reading this and wondering, gosh, I hope they don't find themselves in a situation like that, where they're conflicted about how to engage with someone that they want to be intimate with. And this continued theme throughout this chapter of this duality of viewing, I'm a good guy, right? I'm a good guy versus a bad guy. And I brought it up in the class. I was like, for me, we were talking about where we can stop and or start really the reframing of things, of lessons, so that it doesn't get to the point of a sexual assault or a rape. And for me, I think one of the biggest things that has been highlighted is the challenge for an individual who makes a choice to cross that line, to not listen to the other person who they're being intimate with, if they're consenting, right? Affirmative consent. And the challenge of owning that choice if they don't if they don't respect that, if they don't respect the consent, or if they force it, or if they're insinuating or not listening. The challenge of accepting and taking accountability for that mistake. And so I highlighted, it's challenging for people to own those mistakes in their lives when they already have a perception of themselves to be in one of those two categories, either good or bad. And how it's challenging for them to take that accountability, because if they do, then it puts them in this bad category. And it's like, how can I be bad? I'm a good boy. I'm a good guy, right? Or a good person, a good girl. And realizing, wow, like that stems from childhood, that stems from littles, when we try to teach them, right? And this element of how the importance of separating the choice from the individual. Instead of saying be a good boy or a good girl or a good person, it's it's make good choices, right? Or make choices that are respectful, make choices that are helpful, right? And it starts from when they're little. It starts from when they're little. And so that's what was triggered for me in reading this chapter and talking about it and hearing everyone else's thoughts and feelings about it, and then even just now reflecting it back on my own personal experience, right? And that awareness that I have. Of this person in my family who made those choices in that time of my life, in our life, right? Because it's a mutual chapter that we share. And me still knowing, like, this is a good person. Like, I know that this person is good. It just so happened that that chapter unfolded in that manner. And I think that's why it was easier for me to package it up and be okay. Even though I know it shouldn't have happened, but it did. It did. It unfolded in that manner, and so this made me think of him too. It made me think of it. And you know how we view things, right? Again, it's just our perception of things. And me being able to view this individual as a child as well, right? As a young man, as an adult now, and I don't know if it's just my ability to see the children within, you know, the inner child of each person. When I see them interact, like, I can see it. And so I don't know if that helps me to understand more in terms of where they might be coming from. Yeah. So that's what was triggered. So anyway, I'm gonna share this with my sister and my cousins who have young men now in their lives, their children growing up, you know, because that's what I thought about. I saw the faces of my nephews and I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I hope they're able to separate themselves, you know, and recognize that their choices are not reflective of the type of person they are, right? But rather how they handle that interaction, how they handle that choice, and the aftermath of that choice, right? Because that's what's important, is how do you handle this experience once it's done, right? However it unfolds. Can you be able to recognize that you are still whole and complete, but this choice, the importance of it is what you take from it, what you do with it, right? And those involved, and take accountability, really, for making amends, for respecting those involved if there was disrespect. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be acknowledged and heard, right? We just want to be acknowledged and heard. And to build upon that. And so if it's on a system that isn't working anymore, then being okay as a community, right? To deconstruct that which doesn't serve us anymore and build upon that which does. And keep doing that, right? Being comfortable and open to just view that process as an ongoing process, so that we're not rigid in our perspectives of how things should be, but accept the evolutionary process of changing what needs to be changed when the system isn't working anymore. That's all I wanted to say about that. Okay. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.